If you're headed out to the rodeo, you can come watch our show live from the Cowboy Plaza in Hall E for the next 2 hours. Coming up this hour, Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo President and CEO Chris Boleman will talk all things rodeo. Then Mayor John Whitmire will stop by and tell us how the rodeo and the city come together to bring this great event to H-Town. Plus, we'll discuss some city issues, too. And finally, we'll talk with Director of Customer Experience Holly Schweitzer about the drone show and also Volunteer Appreciation Day. And as always, we want to hear from you. Give us a call or text at 713-440-8870 or email us at talk@hellohouston.org. You can also watch us live on YouTube by going to houstonpublicmedia.org and clicking the purple box.
Hello Houston is made possible in part by founding sponsors John Bradshaw and Kathy Sanders, by Metro, and by gifts from listeners like you.
Live from NPR News, I'm Lakshmi Singh. Members of the International Energy Agency are unanimously allowing 400 million barrels of oil reserves to be released in light of the acute disruption the U.S.-Israel war against Iran and Iran's retaliatory strikes have caused to oil trade. The IEA's member nations have allowed such a release only 5 other times in the organization's history. In Lebanon, about 700,000 people have been displaced and more than 500 people killed as Israel intensifies its airstrikes there. Iranian-backed Hezbollah militants sparked the new fighting when they shot missiles into Israel. The constant barrage of cross-border rocket fire has residents of northern Israel on edge and refusing to leave. NPR's Carrie Kahn reports.
In the city of Kiryat Shmona, the sound of Israeli military fire into Lebanon is constant, as are the multiple air raid sirens warning of incoming Hezbollah rockets. 2 Israeli soldiers have been killed since the start of the fighting. 71-year-old Ahuva Lipman says she evacuated along with the entire city during the Gaza war. This time she's not leaving.
Not Hezbollah and not Iran will tell me where to live.
Residents want tax breaks to get people to stay and government incentives to get others to relocate to Israel's north. Carrie Kahn, NPR News, Kiryat Shmona.
A new NPR PBS News Marist poll finds President Trump is suffering politically this midterm election year because of the U.S.'s involvement in the war. NPR's Domenico Montanaro offers a closer look at how people feel about the military action.
56% say that they are against the military action. Just 36% approve of Trump's handling of the Iran war. And 55% say that they see Iran as only a minor threat or no threat at all. And that mirrors Trump's low approval ratings that we found on other issues.
NPR's Domenico Montanaro reporting. A new U.S. congressional report finds that overpayments in private Medicare plans have raised the cost for all seniors in the system by billions of dollars. Here's NPR's Selena Simmons-Duffin.
The Joint Economic Committee in Congress estimates that overpayments to insurance companies that run Medicare Advantage has cost American seniors billions. Specifically, in 2025, seniors paid $13.4 billion in higher premiums for doctor's office visits and outpatient services. More than half of those enrolled in Medicare are in one of these private plans. Republicans in Congress were long champions of the model, but bipartisan criticism has been growing because Medicare Advantage actually costs the government about 20% more per person than traditional Medicare. Selena Simmons-Duffin, NPR News, Washington.
It's NPR.
Live from News 88.7 in Houston, I'm Alexandra Hart. Strong storms will be moving across the region this afternoon. Matt Moreland with the National Weather Service Houston says the storms will arrive in midday.
We have a storm system that will be moving across the area today. Associated with that, we'll see a line of thunderstorms that will move across the Houston metro area. The timing for that, 11 a.m. to 3 p.m., give or take, is when that band is going to impact the Houston metro area. We do have the potential for some storms to become severe and produce damaging wind.
Moreland says there is a remote chance for tornadoes to form, especially in the North Houston area. ExxonMobil's board of directors has recommended that the company move its corporate registration from New Jersey to Texas. News 88.7's Natalie Weber tells us more about what this means for the company.
If ExxonMobil shareholders approve the change, it will align the company's corporate registration with the location of its physical headquarters, which are north of Houston in Spring. According to reporting from Reuters, the move could shield the company from legal action from activist investors due to Texas state law. In a statement, the company said it has no plans to reduce shareholder rights as compared to New Jersey. Texas Governor Greg Abbott praised ExxonMobil's decision to re-domicile in the state. In a news release, the governor said the move would boost Texas's economic growth and free the company from, quote, over-regulation. I'm Natalie Weber, News 88.7.
NASA is preparing to launch Artemis 2 as soon as April 1st, after delays in recent weeks. When it does launch, Houston's Johnson Space Center will navigate the historic mission. Rice University's David Alexander explains.
They're all working in concert to monitor these complex systems, and the flight director is the one who's getting that input from everyone, and is the one who ultimately makes the decision.
NASA is expected to give an update on its Artemis 2 timeline tomorrow. You can learn more about mission control and hear directly from one of the mission's flight directors on News 88.7 In Depth. That's coming up this afternoon on All Things Considered. I'm Alexandra Hart, News 88.7.
Support for NPR comes from NPR stations. Other contributors include the Kauffman Foundation, providing access to opportunities that help people achieve financial stability, upward mobility, and economic prosperity regardless of race, gender, or geography. Kauffman.org.
Live from the University of Houston, it's Hello Houston, an open forum on today's biggest stories affecting Houston and beyond. Call now, 713-440-8870, or let us know your thoughts on today's topics by emailing us at talk@hellohouston.org. Now here's your host for Hello Houston, Ernie Manous, Celeste Diaz-Sherman, and Frank Billingsley.
And hello, coming to you from the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo. So much fun to get out of the studio and get out in the community.
Yeah.
Yeehaw, my horse is parked right outside.
Well, speaking of outside, Frank, what's going to happen outside?
That's a very good question, isn't it? I'll tell you what, we're going to get clobbered here in a bit, like in the next hour to 2 hours. They're already seeing strong storms from College Station to Columbus. So if you drove out I-10 an hour, you'd run into them. But you have to drive pretty fast. But this is a pretty strong line we've been talking about that was expected late afternoon. It's going to come in early afternoon and cross Harris County and on to Galveston throughout the afternoon. So just be prepared for it. Hail, strong winds, even a tornado or two is not out of the question.
Well, up further north, they were talking about the hail up in Chicago area and stuff. Huge hail coming down.
Yeah, that shows you this is a cold front, especially for them. For us, it's going to take these temperatures that have been in the upper 80s to 70 degrees tomorrow. That means a good 18-degree drop from today to tomorrow.
And that's what I'm curious about. How long is this weather going to be here? What can we expect moving into the weekend?
Well, this moves in and out, and then we have a cool down, and we start to warm up slowly into the weekend, but it's going to be lovely. So for the rodeo and all other outlets, other than this one blip, we're in great shape into the weekend.
Well, that is great. Talking about out and about, as we said, we are out and about, and we're here at the Livestock Show and Rodeo.
Again today. It was great fun last week, so we're like, let's just put our saddle on and come back out.
We had so much fun. We couldn't stay away.
So we're going to talk food. We're going to talk shopping here at the rodeo. We're going to talk about Little Rustlers, which I'm very excited about how they pull this whole thing together, about the volunteers, about the appreciation days. Everything you need to know about rodeo is going to happen right now on this show. So let's start it off.
Let's get going.
That's right. Yep. And first, we have a special guest. Chris Boleman has served as president and CEO of the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo since May of 2020, leading the organization through a period of strategic growth, innovation, and community impact. Under his leadership, the rodeo has expanded its year-round presence, deepened its investment in education and youth development, and strengthened its commitment to agriculture and Western heritage. Chris, welcome to Hello Houston.
It's great to be here. Howdy, as we like to say around here, for a month. So howdy. I'm glad to see you guys are out here and thankful for all the support.
Well, howdy. The first thing that comes to mind when I saw you, first thing I said was, does it get easier each year?
No. What's interesting is, well, first of all, 36,000 volunteers, they run with it. They're the engine that makes this thing go. And we meet year round there's 109 different committees to make sure we're in a position to make it happen. But yeah, there's always things during the day that happen we prepare for. You just mentioned the storm coming through. By the way, it's going to blow through quickly. We'll be fine by mid-afternoon, we hope. And so everybody should come out today. And as mentioned, it's going to be beautiful weather the rest of the week. But yeah, I mean, there's things we plan for. Then there's things that just happen, and you have to be prepared for that. But it's a great team, and you do a live event for 20 days and welcome 2.7 million people. There's a lot of things happening at once. That's for sure.
Yeah, and the rodeo generates hundreds of millions of dollars in regional economic activity year after year. Oftentimes, we're looking at numbers from a volunteer perspective. But Chris, from your perspective, what are the biggest kind of revenue engines that are really making the biggest impact? And that means, is it ticket sales, sponsorship, vendors, or is there something else that we're not necessarily looking at?
Yeah, I think it's all the above. Look, our economic impact annually is roughly $326 million just to this area. And of course, a lot of that is going to be in hotel rooms and food and beverage across the community and just travel to and from. As we get on site, though, you got most of the driving factors. No question, our ticket revenue is our biggest revenue piece. And one of the things that we're so prideful in is that we keep our tickets family friendly. And so that hopefully a family can afford to come. That's why we have $35 tickets. You don't see that at a lot of shows that has a concert like we. But in addition to that, sponsorships, as you mentioned, vendors, our carnival, but our donors through our auctions, which is really the driver for our scholarship program. This year is our largest annual gift ever at $30 million, and a lot of that, of course, is driven by our donors through our auctions and through corporate development and some other strategies as well.
Speaking of concerts, and certainly a huge driver for income, but one of the draws, and I think that when George Strait came and filled in and became a big star at the rodeo, that was probably the last time you had a cancellation. How do you keep all these stars that have such schedules and have to deal with weather and getting here on time, and how do you keep it all running and never have a problem?
Yeah, and so I will say we've had a couple other cancellations. One of them we had just a few years ago. Cody Johnson came in for Old Dominion, and so is it that interesting as Cody Johnson will close us out with a 21st show. We have a team that works year round. We have a team of two professionals that are this is what they do for us, and then we have partners in the entertainment world, particularly those touring agencies that partner with us to help us, work with us to identify and work through different schedules, because it is tough. A lot of it's not as difficult to have somebody on a Thursday, Friday, Saturday night, but a Tuesday night, because we're 20 days in a row, and that's what we saw last night, right? Megan Maroney came in, sold the place out on a Tuesday night, as she's an up and comer, and obviously we hit her just right, and she was so great to have. By the way, it was outstanding performance. And so, but yeah, we work tirelessly year round. We are already working on the 2027 lineup, and it's something that you just have to manage, just like everything else around here, and try to find the sweet spots for dates and times for artists.
Well, I know you get it firmed up, I guess, far in advance from when you announce it. Mm-hmm. That's my question. Because you keep us waiting until the last minute. But is this all settled by June?
No, it's not all settled till June. I will say we go into the early fall, maybe even into October, November for the final ones. And it does come down to just availability and schedules. Every year somebody will say, why didn't so-and-so come? Well, we probably offered them. The dates probably didn't work. This year there's a couple that are on tour in Australia. There's a couple of European tours too that are happening within March. So you just have to work teams and figure it all out. And there's only 20 spots. And so, there's a lot of great entertainers out there. I think we are offering a more diverse lineup. Country music itself is more diverse. And so we're trying to attract different audiences. And that's what's been so interesting this year. I just made the comment this morning in a meeting, is the audience last night compared to the audience with Dwight Yoakam, compared to Lizzo. I mean, it's different fans that are coming here to have a great experience.
I guess that kind of plays into the whole concept. Celeste and I were talking about this earlier, about tradition versus innovation, and that you've got to remember the rodeo and what rodeo is, but the audience is changing. How do you balance?
Yeah, that's it. That is the work is the balance. That's what I like to say with our team, and as we work with our committees. Our committees, our volunteer leadership is they serve in 3-year rotations, and about a third rotate off each a year, and so that allows us to really be creative and fresh, in my opinion, because everybody brings in new ideas, and so you do have to balance that with what the mission of the show is. course, we start with promoting agriculture. That's our 94-year-old history. That's where we started. Obviously, it's about supporting education and doing something for this community, which is a huge piece of it. So you have to find the right levers. You find the right balance. As you look across the grounds this year, there's always new activations, but we also don't want to mess up what we know works. I mean, can you imagine a show without a corn dog or a funnel cake, right? We know that works, and we know people are coming here this time of year to have that. So it is about keeping it fresh, but also not forgetting who you are, not sacrificing your mission.
And now, Chris, something that I find fascinating, and this also kind of works into the fact that y'all are balancing many things here at the Houston Livestock Show and rodeo, that the rodeo is a non-profit, yet you guys operate at a scale of a major entertainment company. How do you balance working those different angles? I
always say success is driven by the fact that meet the educational commitment, because that really is the outcome of the mission. And by educational commitment, I'm just not speaking of this year's commitment of $30 million. I'm talking about making sure that the 4-H and FFA kids we make a commitment to them to be able to show their livestock. I'm talking about all the different activities here that we know go into making that positive experience. For some, it may be calf scramble. For others, it may be just being able to be here to go through an educational session in Ag Venture presented by Oxy or Fun on the Farm. It's that commitment to education that's our mission, as you said, as a nonprofit. It's what we have to do.
So we're capped at 20 days?
Well, this year we got a +1 with the concert on the back end, with Cody closing us out on day 21. And it's interesting because, if you really look at it, we have 3 days of barbecue before, so it's already 24, 25. Pat, our chairman of the board, Pat Van Phillips, and I talk about it all the time. This thing really does start about the time we make that entertainer announcement on January 7th or 8th. You can just kind of see it scaling up. I will say, based on our lease, we have the facility from mid-February to the end of March, and so that fits nicely with a 20 to 21-day activation with a barbecue on the front end. So 20, I think, is good. 21's a lot, and we're looking forward to it. We do it every few years, as you know, but we think that's plenty.
Talk a little bit about growth, because at some point, even though you're here at NRG and you seem to have plenty of space, eventually too many people, not enough space. What do you think and plan for the future? How do you calculate that?
Yeah, it's a great question. Again, a lot of that is tied to our lease, which is up, both tenants, both us and the Texans, in 2032. So we are working with the county. This is a county property. So we're working closely with the county leadership to figure out our long-term plan. This is a 350-acre facility. And as you know, we use all of it for parking, carnival, horse show at the arena, the center, for the livestock show, and for shopping and all the other activations, and then of course in the stadium, and then we use a lot for parking. The rodeo owns the 100 acres across the street, the old Astroworld property, and we have another 350 acres about 2 miles south along 288 and Reed Road. That's where we do a lot of back-of-house for show right now. That's where our exhibitors first start before they come over here to unload. That's where our rodeo stock is. That's where our rodeo athletes stay. And so it's really not a 350 acre activation for us. It's more like a 800 to 900 acre to be able to do everything that we do, and to be able to park people like we do at the 610 lot. And so, but yeah, I mean, the good news is that there's so many people that come here, and so we're doing really well. The challenge to that is making sure that, we're working on congestion, we're working with parking, we're working on transportation. That's a constant year-round. Have great partnerships with the city and the county, have great partnerships with TxDOT to make sure, and with Metro, I should say specifically, to make sure we can get people here safely and do it in an efficient way.
And another challenge I would say almost every large event is dealing with is inflation. How much have operating costs changed in the last few years, and where are you all seeing some of the biggest financial pressures?
Yeah, I think a lot of it is in food and fiber. We've seen that. We've seen some prices start to come down in certain areas, but we know beef's at an all-time high. So you just have to adjust like that, just like a supermarket, just like anybody else. Yeah. But we are constantly on top of that. It's one of the reasons that we have started family-friendly days, like on Wednesdays, like today. Today is Community Day, where we're trying to offer some options so folks can hopefully be able to afford, or we provide less expensive options. We've worked very hard with our carnival provider, RCS, to be able to do that, along with several food vendors, so that if that's a challenge, we're trying to provide price points that meet their needs.
I don't know if you have any way of knowing this, but how many people are local that come out here? And I mean, Southeast Texas versus how many out-of-towners?
Yeah, so it's a great question. And it is, I mean, it depends on how you define local, just as you mentioned. If we look at a 7 to 10 county radius, that's going to be probably 65 to 70% of our attendees. Just looking, we do surveys day of, we do them the day after, and then we do follow-ups throughout the year. And so that's roughly it. The other 30 to 40%, and that may be a little wide, 30 to 35% are coming from all over the place. But it's definitely more regional. One of our strategic goals is to have more of a national presence. We believe that more people need to know about the awesomeness that's out here at the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo, the fact that it's powered by this volunteer, the methodology that we use and how much we're giving to the youth of Texas. But it's definitely, I would consider it a regional performance currently.
When all of us think about rodeo, I think most people think spectacle or carnival or events, concerts. When you think about the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo, what does it mean to you?
Yeah, for me, it's all part of it is my background. Look, I was a professor in agriculture before I came to work here, and so was my dad and my granddad, for that matter. And I grew up on a 50-acre ranch in College Station, and so for me, it is the piece that resonates with me is the promotion of agriculture. I'm a big believer that countries that can feed themselves and clothe themselves are the safest on the planet. We can never forget our agriculture base. That's why I get so passionate about the kids that I know are raising their lamb, their goat, their pig, their steer, whatever, to come to our show every year. Those are the kids that mean the most to me because I'm one of them.
Yeah. And that's interesting that you talk about that, right? Because the rodeo awards hundreds of millions of dollars each year in scholarships. And over the years, I mean, it's literally hundreds and thousands of millions of dollars. And so to you, that's an investment in Texas agriculture into the future. Why do you think that is so important that we continue to invest in Texas's agriculture future?
I think it's really important that everybody knows that it's not about just being able to go to a supermarket, whether it be an H-E-B or Kroger or whomever, and just see the fresh food that's there. Everybody, in my opinion, needs to understand that that's cultivated somewhere. 2% of our population is feeding 100% of the country and other countries for that matter. We can never take that for granted. And what our farmers and ranchers do to make sure there's food on the table for all of us. I mean, we're living in a country where food is very affordable. And so we want to continue that. We're passionate about that. This show started. The first part of the mission was promoting agriculture. It was about starting a livestock show in this community because the breeders and the livestock producers in this area didn't really have an outlet for that. And I still believe that's what drives us, and it should continue to do so.
Well, if I'm not mistaken, we're about at our 100th anniversary. I mean, not so far away.
Yep.
You've got to be planning already.
Yes.
So give us some hint of what.
What's really interesting is that the last year of our current lease is 2032, which happens to be our 100-year anniversary.
I know.
It's really weird that it just aligns that way. And what we've seen over time at our show is about every 30 years there's significant newness or change that takes place from coming from downtown from the Coliseum to here and then moving into the stadium 20 plus years ago now, 24 years ago now. So we're approaching that again. We are. We have a Vision 100 strategy that we're talking about. I think we'll see some activations really starting. We're already starting some, and then post-show too. But we're leaning into 100 years. Next year is 95, but we're leaning into 100 years. And a lot of it is about the show, but it's really about the organization. We're at a pinnacle point of our organization to set the path forward for the next 100. And that's where we are. That's as much as I'm going to say right now.
We're in this year. What shouldn't people miss at this year's show?
Well, we're out. I think today is the halfway mark, if I'm not mistaken. So I don't think, I know a lot of kids are on spring break, and if you're not out here, then you're missing it. And so, my advice is always to come out early. There's so many newcomers. We actually have a measure to figure out how many newcomers come each year. It's roughly 15 to 18% year to year. Because so many people move to Houston every year, and they're like, what is this rodeo? What's going on? And my advice is always to come out early because it's so much bigger than a rodeo. It really is a community activation that's welcome, that everyone's welcome to attend. Come out early. If you have a ticket to the stadium, a lot of people for the first time, it may be because they're interested in seeing Creed that plays tonight. But you want to come out because you will be overwhelmed by what you can see before you ever go into the stadium. And that's the biggest regret I hear from folks. I wish I'd have come out early. So I'm telling you now, come out early.
Come out early.
Don't come for showtime. Come early.
Come out early.
Chris Boleman is the president and CEO of the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo. Chris, thanks so much for joining us today on Hello Houston.
Thank you so much.
Well, thank y'all for all you do to support us. As mentioned, it's a community event, and you guys are a big part of the community.
Thank you.
Coming up on Hello Houston, we are live from the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo. As you can see, we'll be joined by Houston Mayor John Whitmire. This is News 88.7. Stay with us.
Meet Tio Choco. We just took his keys for the day and gave him a Ride Metro fare card. This is his story. Visit ridemetro.org/Choco to find out where is Choco.
I'm Scott Detrow, the storied career of Delroy Lindo on All Things Considered from NPR News.
All Things Considered begins today at 3 on News 88.7.
At its most basic, consciousness is what makes us ourselves.
The self is about separateness, right? The ego is a defensive structure. But when those walls come down, there's nothing between you and whatever the larger universe is.
A look at what we understand about the conscious mind. That's next time on Think.
You can hear Think at 11 o'clock tonight on News 88.7.
Experts estimate that the U.S. has already spent more than $10 billion on its war in Iran. Meanwhile, the price of oil is rising sharply worldwide as fighting ties up ships in the Strait of Hormuz. With no clear end in sight, how will Congress wrangle the high price tag of the war, economically and politically? Unpacking the cost of war, next time on 1A.
This afternoon at 2.
I'm Michael Schaefer. My partner Ellen and I have been proud supporters of public radio and TV for decades.
Now's the time to step up.
Give now at houstonpublicmedia.org
or call 888-909-0887.
Support comes from Rice University's Scientia and Brain Institutes, hosting the Darlin Conference, Brains in Society, exploring neuroscience's expanding impact on everyday life, March 12th through 14th. Registration at dulling.rice.edu.
And now back to Hello Houston, live from the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo. Here's your hosts, Ernie Manous, Celeste Diaz-Sherman, and Frank Billingsley.
All right, joining us now is a man that needs no introduction, Mayor John Whitmire. He joins us from the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo to tell us how the city and county work together every year to get this iconic event produced. He'll also take your questions and comments on all city matters. You can call or text 713-440-8870. Mr. Mayor, it's my duty to tell you, literally a minute ago we went under a tornado watch until 6 o'clock, just so you know that. I'm sorry to say it, but we are.
Well, if it's as accurate as that we were going to have floods last weekend, you know, I feel safe.
Howdy, it's good to have you back on Hello Houston.
How are you?
Are doing well. How are you doing?
I'm fine.
Good. So how do you bring it together with the county and the city to make all this happen?
The rodeo, hey, Ernie, the rodeo has almost been around as long as Harris County in the city of Houston, because it's our heritage, if you really want to think about it. So it just comes natural for everyone to come together during the rodeo period. And I've been attending the rodeo and parades since I was a small child growing up in Houston. I could tell you some of the players, but you probably wouldn't recognize them unless you know of Roy Rogers.
I know.
And Dale Evans.
Yeah.
And Trigger. And they actually had the rodeo in an auditorium, which was across from City Hall. I'm not sure it was as large as Toyota Stadium is. Very small.
Yeah.
Torn down. Actually had the National Democratic Convention there back in the 30s. So back to your original question is there's certain institutions that just bring Houstonians together. So how does the county and the city administrations come together? We represent the same people, and they expect us to give the rodeo every opportunity to provide this experience. And, of course, some of our responsibilities are different. The county owns where we're sitting today, so they have a huge responsibility for the facility. Ours is largely public safety, transportation, collaborating with the DPS to reduce DWIs, public announcements. Come have a great time at the rodeo. But we do focus on traffic control, DWIs, and having a quality city.
I'm curious, when you talk about that, the amount of drain on the city budget. Granted, there's the benefit of all that comes with having the rodeo, but how difficult is it to budget in this kind of a massive event for so many days? What does it do to the city budget?
Well, you know, we do ask city council and get some pushback for police overtime.
Mm-hmm.
I can't imagine people not understanding, my friends, the responsibility of HPD. How about pop-up protests? 3,000 Iranians were at Post Oak and Westheimer last weekend. We got the World Baseball Classic going on as we speak. We had 70,000 cheerleaders in Houston last weekend. Great reviews by their parents and our guests. So that's why we have the city budget that we have. And, of course, we all know it's strained, historically strained, and it's just a huge balancing of where you put your priorities. But the rodeo hires many off-duty police and deputy sheriffs, metro police, so they're very safety conscious. And, you know, there's certain events that we have, world events that we have no control over. So it'd be truthful to say, I think our nation is on edge, and certainly our community. But, you know, we stay prepared. I'm very proud of our police chief and our collaboration with all the regional departments.
You know, Mayor Whitmire, one major world event that's coming is the FIFA World Cup. And I think there are a lot of questions right now with a lot of people high alert around security. Can you talk to us a little bit about how you all are bracing for that?
We spoke of that in the office this morning. Homeland Security has budgeted Houston, Harris County, $60 million for extra law enforcement. It's sitting on the desk of the Home Secretary of Homeland Security because they're in transition. My team tells me if we don't get it this week, we'll get it next week. And that's where a lot of the overtime costs will be absorbed. They're doing that around the country. So we meet regularly with all the stakeholders with responsibilities. Certainly FIFA is involved in the meeting. They tell us that we are better prepared than any other major city. They call us the grown-up city about the way we approach things. But I regularly in those meetings, which involves public safety, health department, metro, public works, all the major departments, and the preparation. We don't operate in silos. We come together as a team to prepare for FIFA. I tell them, why don't we remember this experience of how well we're getting prepared for the World Cup and take that into our neighborhoods?
Yeah.
So I want everyone to know the preparation for FIFA is just really an example of what we want to do across Houston in terms of cleaning up downtown Houston.
On that line,
homeless. I could go through a whole list of things that are on the agenda for the World Cup that I insist that we also take to the neighborhoods.
Well, in that arena, let's talk about the airports. I know Houston owns them, but then the government's running them at a national level with TSA problems, and the spring breakers have had a heck of a time.
I watch it, and can't use on the air the description of what it looked like, a mess.
Yeah.
And so my heart goes out, my frustration is high, in direct conversation with the airport director hourly, what can be done. And until they get back to work and they're back at, well, let me just stress, they were at work, but now the TSA employees having difficulty with daycare, with school out, cost of gasoline, no paycheck. So that is a federal issue, and unfortunately, federal issues impact us, as you just said. So we try to be as accommodating as possible. We have to have additional security. People get frustrated, angry, so you got to have the presence of law enforcement. Give them water when they're in line. So, you know, we just a can-do city, and I could spend the whole day telling you of extra effort that we take to make this city a great city.
But in very practical terms, Mayor Whitmire, I am curious. It's interesting. Houston often, given the size, we trend well compared to other major cities. What do you think that is? You know, during COVID, we were one of the major cities that didn't see as much impact from that virus. You know, when we're looking at, you know, the rodeo was one of the first to shut down in the nation during 2020.
Gets back to leadership. It really gets back to elections matter. The COVID experience, it was certainly helped by the fact that we have a large med center. We do research. The leader, the county judge, the Mayor Turner, we're in communication, the health department. So, you know, it's in our culture. It's whether a storm or COVID or the challenges we face today internationally, we come together. And, you know, it's just in our DNA. Now, obviously, we celebrate our diversity, but I'm quick to mention, and it's really amazing to watch as the mayor, all this diversity comes together and works together. The Ismaili Center provides so much charitable assistance, and so I could go across town. Government can't do everything, so it's the foundations, it's the faith-based community. All the different communities come together, and it's quite assuring that that's just how we do things here. I could point to other cities. In fact, I could point to a large number of major cities that are in turmoil. We're not. We're here with one of our major experiences coming off successfully. But Dr. Bowen, I mean, look at the leadership across the city. Renew Couture out at U of H. I could just go on and on.
Well,
Tammy Wallace with the LGBTQ plus Chamber of Commerce. Just think where we'd be without that.
And to your point, we're so good at so much. Why does this heavy trash clearing seem to be such a thorn for us?
Well, first of all, it has been as long as anyone can remember.
I know.
Well, social media has a lot of impact. I mean, we're monitoring that daily. A lot of neglect, a lot of neglect in maintenance of. Here's another problem. It's an economic issue as well.
Yeah.
People are putting stuff and calling it heavy trash that really is not the responsibility of the city of Houston. Now, let me first own it. Solid waste, and I replaced the director about 6 months ago. I did inherit some challenges. The previous director had Wednesday as a holiday, as an off day. Unbelievable. Because that's how people got overtime. Conflicts of interest, which I run across. The city had been buying used trucks. So there's a lot of reasons, past decision making, going back, we'll talk about the finances. Bob Lanier got $500 million from Metro in '93 to pay police overtime. So back to your solid heavy trash. You can go across the city. Pretty common for people have been evicted from a house. A landlord will put all the furniture out on the street. That's not really the proper responsibility of the city of Houston. I think part of it's also economics, and I have to distinguish heavy trash, which is certainly a city responsible, but I'm just as bothered by illegal dumping. I was in 3rd Ward this morning at 9 o'clock with a crew dealing with illegal dumping, which affects our drainage, health, rodents, you name it. We are trying. I have a new solid waste director. We're giving him additional resources. He's fired up. He's a can-do person. Worked over in Public Works before I found him, and we're about a week behind on heavy trash, but we want to go to a model that other cities use. Here's the problem, Frank. When you do the heavy trash schedule that's been in existence for years, only 20% of the people put out heavy trash. Mm-hmm. Think about it. Yeah. So you spend all your time traveling on the road. So San Antonio and other successful cities have gone to pick up on demand. Now, I'm on it because communication is everything. If I'm going to call you to come pick up my heavy trash, you better darn well have good operators.
Yeah.
Maybe not the 311 model, because I'm frustrated many days with 311. But solid waste has to have operators and action teams to go pick it up, or it won't work. But it is working in other locales.
You're listening to Hello Houston. We are speaking with Mayor John Whitmire. If you would like to join the conversation, if you have a question or comment, you can call or text 713-440-8870. We have Meliku from Houston on the line. Meliku, welcome to Hello Houston. What is your comment or question for Mayor Whitmire?
Oh, not hearing Meliku. While we straighten that out, quick question for you, Mayor. And when you've been in public office for many, many years, mostly on the state level. Now, on the city level, how different is your understanding of Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo? How much has what you thought you knew about it changed?
The
over the last
Livestock Show?
Yeah.
No. As a Houstonian, growing up here, going to U of H, but really as a legislator, they're very involved. Like last Sunday, they had legislator event. Yeah. And so they bring legislators from around the state because the state legislature does get involved in the operations of the rodeo, transportation, I can name other issues. So my vision, I work closer with them. They're very concerned about their facilities, which probably would have not ended up on my desk in Austin, although it could, because we're doubling the size of the George Brown with state dollars. Not one city taxpayer dollar is doubling the size of George Brown, and it's going to be remarkable when it's finished. But back to the rodeo. You know, they're very frustrated about the facilities. They think they could keep up with the growth and just some general maintenance. So, you know, I'm more closely involved than I would have ever probably been as a legislator, but it's not foreign territory.
Yeah. You know, Mayor Whitmire, often when we speak about Houston, the city, Houston continues just to grow at an extremely rapid rate. Developers often talk about Houston being very flexible, but you know, a lot of critics say that there's not enough planning, that we're not doing enough. Where do you draw that line?
Well, the real challenge, and we're seeing it in 3rd Ward at Live Oak Street in Alameda, someone wants to put a service station in a residential neighborhood. Big complaint. Our hands are tied by state law. We do not have zoning in the city of Houston. So throughout the community, you go up Heights Boulevard and see, you know, $1 million homes, and then an antique store maybe next door. And it may not even be an antique store. It may be just
old furniture.
Maybe occasionally even an abandoned house. But anyway,
right.
Let me tell you the numbers and the challenge we have for planning, which I've got a new planning director, one of the smartest people in city government, Von Tran, came out of the private sector. This morning when we woke up, there's 2.3 million Houstonians, and we're growing. We've been discovered. But here's the challenge. 700,000 people come to Houston each day to work and attend events. That's the size of Atlanta. Wow. Size of Atlanta is here today to work. Med Center, the port, across this great city. So we have to provide for their safety and their health care and their infrastructure. You know, I grew up in Houston when the streets didn't look like they do now. And the broken water mains. I inherited 1,900 broken water mains. We're down to 300 now. Of course, you break some, others show up. But we're moving in the right direction with infrastructure, public safety, and dealing with the lack of zoning. But the planning, here's a challenge. Just city red tape. I was told when I was running by home builders, which affects affordability, that they're not going to build in Houston because they can't get a permit for about 8 months. We're currently working under a pilot project of 30 days, pre-qualifications of people that submit their plans, and if they're working in good faith, they can get a building permit in 30 days for houses. Then we want to expand it to the business sector. So, you know, we've been discovered not only internationally, our suburbs are booming. My challenge is to improve the quality of life so people want to not only work in Houston, but they want to live. And that means more green space, parks, better schools, public safety.
Let me get your take on this. We understand that the Cinco de Mayo parade is going to be canceled because people are afraid to go because of ICE presence. What's your take on that? And it seems that we haven't had Minneapolis issues.
You know, we can talk about we haven't had the turmoil that most major
cities
have.
We haven't.
You know, I think it's a combination of what you mentioned. That's the way it's being spun. I think it's also, you know, they don't celebrate that birthday, that ceremony in Mexico.
Right.
So I think their attendance is dropped. The concerns over immigration, a budget issue. So, you know, we're in touch with them. We were surprised, but they just decided to put their energy in a different effort. But I don't think it would be reasonable to say just ICE or immigration. You know, I was at the ball game night before last. Mexico played the U.S. No noticeable difference or concern about ICE or immigration. Look where we are today. Look at the diversity and the large Hispanic participation at this event. So I'm not going to second guess LULAC and those that made that decision, but I don't think it'd be reasonable to say that immigration alone factored in.
But it seems like
we had the rodeo parade, and it was overloaded with Hispanics.
Sure, but and it seems like the city is working pretty well with the presence of ICE in the city. I mean,
Frank, we have a small number of ICE, and I understand the anxiety, certainly of the undocumented community. I share their anxiety, as I think most of us do, over what we saw on the national TV. But we've been very smart in Houston. I would like to think part of it is the tone that I set. I did not politicize the immigration or even the ICE involvement, but I was very clear and consistent. We're HPD. We enforce city laws, state laws. We follow Senate Bill 4, which says you have to let ICE operate. So the fact that we have not been confrontational, we've actually protected the undocumented community. Oh, I know how to get in a political fight. And look what L.A. got out of it, or Chicago, or Minneapolis, you know, using terrible language to tell ICE to get out of the city. That doesn't work, and we're not going to do it on my watch because too much is at stake. So we're being consistent. We're following the law. We empathize with the community. HPD is the community's friend. And I don't care. We don't ask you your immigration status. If you have a domestic abuse issue, step forward. Now, we have some people that would like to disrupt the city, politicize it. And I regret that, but we're on top of it. Got a great police chief. Heck, half of our department is Hispanic. We have language skills in many representation of the communities across Houston. So, you know, experience, relationships, I'm not going to let it blow up on my watch. And you do that by being smart, don't politicize it, and hold your police accountable. And we'll be talking about that even this afternoon, how we can improve accountability of our officers. But it's unfortunate what's going around the country. And just think about that. That's not even a city issue that we inherited and we have to deal with. or any international conflict. You know, there's tragedies going on around the world. And our citizens, our residents, have friends, family back in the Ukraine or back in Gaza.
Iran,
for certain. A large Persian community in the city of Houston.
Yep.
Let me take you over to economics a little bit. When you're talking about world issues and
Sure.
the impacts it's having, how are we bracing as a city for what could be coming economically because of world issues right now?
Well, it's a mixed bag. Obviously, all revenue, starting with the state coffers, city of Houston, jobs, would be positive from the harm that's being done in the Middle East. On the other hand, cost of living affects us. People eating in our restaurants, lack of spendable income. So it's a mixed bag. Obviously, none of that is concerning as a loss to lives, because we do have relatives. I could name a couple of prominent Houstonians from Iran that have brothers, sisters, parents still there. So, you know, I asked one yesterday, a doctor, how are you handling it? He said, I just try not to think about it. So that's where, as the mayor, in my pulse on the community, there's anxiety, world conflicts, local conflicts, weather. You know, I have to always be ready. And I haven't even left Houston to go on an international trip. It's sad. I would love to go on the inaugural flight to Rome in April. And I had to tell the ambassador of Rome that I wouldn't be there. I don't feel like it's responsible with so much going on. And I haven't even started talking about basic city services. Broken 40-inch water main at 4 o'clock in the morning. I get a call at home. If we don't get a group over there, Methodist won't be able to do its operations today. So, you know, you're not going to catch me on a junket, which maybe the inaugural flight doesn't deserve to be called that. But I'm not going out of the country, certainly in this first term.
I'm happy to represent you.
Yeah, I was going to go for that.
But you know, Mayor
I have a lot of friends that would like to go with me, daughters.
Then that brings me to my next question. Then what brings you the most anxiety? Would you say it is city services at the end of the day?
Oh, it's always what you don't know. I still run into conflicts of interest, some corruption of city operations that we still weed out. But what would keep me up? The water treatment plant on the east side. Just this side of Galena Park, we have the water treatment plant that furnishes 60% of Houston's water. It was built in 1954, and it looks like it. So if we lost our water supply out of that plant, the med center would not be able to operate, the refineries wouldn't be able to operate. And here's the difference in myself and previous leadership. I talk about it. Probably none of you have heard that the water plant that furnishes 60% of our water was built in 54 with no backup. Why? Because the civic business leaders want Amazon to bring their manufacturing here, or Eli Lilly to come here. And I learned many years ago in government, you're not going to fix something if you don't admit you have a problem. So I'm talking about it, and we're talking to Washington because it's a homeland security issue. 90% of the nation's jet fuel, domestic and military, is refined at the Houston Ship Channel.
Wow.
It's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
So we're going to get big monies from Homeland Security to help us fix the refinery. The state gave us $100 million last session for a lift station, which helps us distribute that water. So, you know, you asked me, Celeste, what keeps you up at night? Something of that magnitude.
Yeah.
And that's one reason why I don't leave town. It's one reason why I need to probably slow down. But you haven't asked me what I'm doing wrong. I enjoy what I'm doing. People ask me, are you having fun? No. Fun is going to a Little League game with my grandson. But I enjoy what I'm doing. I've prepared my entire life for this. Am I perfect? Have we made mistakes? Certainly. but we are definitely, and I sense it just walking around this exhibit hall, people are fired up and the morale is high, improving in the city of Houston. Do I have critics? Yes. There's some people that can't get over the last election, or they're ready for the next election. I don't worry about that. You win elections and between elections by getting the job done, and I'm very positive. I believe the best thing I've done is the team I have in place. Professional, passionate, honest department heads.
Yeah.
And it's showing up.
We're sitting in one of the largest events the city does every year by far, but we've got World Cup coming up, as we mentioned earlier.
Sure.
There was a report about almost $10 million coming in for Metro to help aid with that. And at the point that we were covering the story, we didn't know how that would be applied or anything. Do you have any insight into what they're thinking?
It's a homeless shelter. No, and that's part of the discussion. It's not just for the World Cup. We need to improve the homeless circumstances in Houston. Metro suffers greatly from the homeless. People do not feel safe to ride Metro. Particularly Midtown is a real challenge. The train. And so Metro is partnering with us to improve the environment in which they operate. And, of course, that also impacts the World Cup in FIFA, particularly of where most of the fan fests will take place, in and around George Brown. I mentioned earlier, and it was just very gratifying, that 70,000 cheerleaders were in Houston last weekend for national championship. They want to extend that by 3 years. It had been held in Dallas, so we're being noticed as kind of a can-do city. I have mayors of other major cities call me, how were you able to balance your budget without an increase in taxes? Or even mostly, how have you kept the turmoil with ICE out of your city? So I would strongly suggest we're a model for other municipalities, but we've just gotten started. I've only been in office 2 years.
Wow.
Well,
do you know under the old model, when you could serve as mayor 3 twos, I would have already been up for re-election.
Well, Mayor John Whitmire, we want to thank you for joining us today on Hello Houston. You're going to have to come back. There's a lot to chat about.
No, I'm a phone call away.
Coming up, we're going to continue our live broadcast from the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo. Stay with us as Hello Houston continues.
Hi, I'm Craig Cohen, reminding you that you now have 2 chances to catch Houston Matters each weekday. We're live at 9 a.m. Monday through Friday. We then replay the show at 9 p.m. Whether you're a morning person or a night owl, we got you covered here on News 88.7.
This is your NPR station, KUHF Houston News 88.7, a service from the University of Houston. 78 degrees, and it is now 12 noon.
Welcome to Hello Houston. I'm executive producer of the show, Jim Kovacic, and today we're live from the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo. If you're headed out to the rodeo, you can come watch our show live from the Cowboy Plaza in Hall E. Coming up this hour, representatives from the Go Tejano Committee will tell us all about Go Tejano Day and the Go Tejano Diner. Then it's all about food as we talk with Commercial Exhibits Committee Chair Kenneth Lewis, who will be joined by Isaac Rousso, the 2026 Gold Buckle Food Award winner, and Mark Zable, another Gold Buckle Foodie winner from Darlin's Fried Chicken. Plus, there'll be more food as we taste all the winners from all the Golden Buckle categories. And finally, Special Children's Committee Chairman Sylvia Pennell will let us know about the sensory-friendly activities on the grounds and the Little Rustlers Rodeo. It's Hello Houston live from the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo with Frank, Ernie, and Celeste right after the news from NPR and News 88.7.
Hello, Houston. Live from NPR News, I'm Lakshmi Singh. The Trump administration is asking Israel not to target Iranian oil facilities any longer. That's following Israel's strikes on Iranian oil facilities over the weekend. NPR's Daniel Estrin has this from Tel Aviv.
The Israeli strikes on oil facilities sparked massive pillars of fire and blackened the skies over Tehran. The World Health Organization warned it could cause severe health impacts. Israel said Iran's military used that oil to fuel its missile launchers. An official in the region briefed on the matter told NPR the Trump administration was notified in advance before the Israeli strikes, but was surprised by the extent of the damage. The official said Israel has agreed to the U.S. request to no longer target Iranian oil facilities in the war. The official was not authorized to speak publicly and spoke on condition of anonymity. Senator Lindsey Graham, who is calling for regime change in Iran, said Iranians will need the oil reserves in the future. Daniel Estrin, NPR News, Tel Aviv.
In response to the growing threat of an oil crisis, the member nations of the International Energy Agency have approved the release of 400 million barrels from its emergency oil stock. IEA represents some of the world's biggest oil-consuming nations. Global oil prices have been highly volatile for days. The Department of Homeland Security says it restarted the Global Entry program this morning. NPR's Joel Rose reports Global Entry had been suspended during the ongoing partial government shutdown in the U.S.
Global Entry allows pre-approved, low-risk travelers to get expedited processing when they enter the U.S. Travelers have to pay a fee and undergo special vetting to qualify. The Department of Homeland Security suspended the program more than 2 weeks ago, but it is now backtracking amid criticism from the aviation and travel industries. In a statement, DHS says it's restoring the Global Entry option while evaluating the impact of the ongoing partial shutdown, which it blames on Democrats. Funding for DHS lapsed more than 3 weeks ago. Democrats have refused to approve the department's budget unless Republicans and the White House agree on changes to how immigration officers operate. Joel Rose, NPR News, Washington.
Investors are digesting a fairly mild report on February inflation today. But as NPR's Scott Horsley explains, the cost of living index for March could look very different.
A new report from the Labor Department shows annual inflation in February was 2.4%, about what forecasters had expected, and similar to the previous month. The March cost of living index could be a lot uglier. Now, the U.S. war with Iran has triggered a spike in gasoline prices. AAA says gas prices have jumped about 60 cents a gallon since the war began. Gas prices were already creeping up last month, along with rent and grocery prices. Falling prices for used cars and auto insurance helped keep the February inflation rate in check. Scott Horsley, NPR News, Washington.
The Dow Jones Industrial Average is down 317 points, or more than 0.5%. You're listening to NPR News.
Live from News 88.7 in Houston, I'm Alexandra Hart. As North Houston bears the brunt of a strong storm system moving into the region ahead of schedule, the same system bringing rain to the area is likely to cause problems for areas of the coast. National Weather Service meteorologist Matt Moreland explains.
The same line of storms will impact the coastal areas, Freeport and Galveston generally early to mid-afternoon, and then we'll have some lingering showers and thunderstorms behind that main line. That activity will continue into the early evening hours.
Moreland says the storms in the region could deliver 1 to 2 inches of rain an hour across the area. Gusty winds and hail are possible. Additionally, a tornado watch is in effect until 6 p.m. Texas Republicans will head back to the polls at the end of May for a runoff election between Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton and Senator John Cornyn. Paxton is vying for Cornyn's seat. The Democratic nominee in the race this November will be State Representative James Tallarico. Nancy Sims is with the University of Houston's Hobby School of Public Affairs. She says as it stands right now, without an endorsement from President Trump, Cornyn has some ground to gain.
We've seen poll after poll that shows that Ken Paxton is the most popular among those very engaged Republicans, and those are the ones that are going to turn out for this runoff.
Sims was a guest on Houston Matters. Trump has said he would make an endorsement in the race, but has not done so yet. As spring breakers head out to Galveston for fishing trips, marine mammal advocates are seeking to raise awareness about ghost fishing. This happens when discarded fishing gear continues to fish and trap animals in the water. Heidi Whitehead is the executive director for the Texas Marine Mammal Stranding Network. She says these entanglements can be life-threatening to marine animals.
It can basically cause amputations of their limbs, and so dolphins in particular tend to get these entanglements around their pectoral flippers or their tail flukes or their dorsal fin.
Whitehead recommends reusing leftover bait and recycling fishing line. I'm Alexandra Hart, News 88.7.
Support for NPR comes from NPR stations. Other contributors include Progressive. Progressive Commercial Auto Insurance protects the vehicles that work to keep small businesses moving forward, including protection while running errands and other tasks. At progressivecommercial.com.
Live from Houston Public Media and News 88.7, it's Hello Houston, an open forum on today's biggest stories affecting Houston and beyond. Call now, 713-440-8870, or let us know your thoughts on today's topics by emailing us at talk@hellohouston.org. And now here's your host for Hello Houston, Ernie Manous, Celestia Sherman, and Frank Billingsley.
Thanks for joining us on the second hour of Hello Houston. We are live. Where are we, gentlemen?
We're at the Houston Livestock Show in Rodeo 2026.
I mean, we're having too much fun. It's fun.
It's fun to be here. It's fun to come out of the studio. It's fun to be out in the community, and it's great to have your interaction. So call us, text us, join in the conversation if you would like. 713-440-8870. You know, we've been here a whole hour, and we still haven't eaten food.
Yes.
We're going to do that shortly, aren't we?
Coming up,
Gold Buckle winners are going to be here.
Yes, and Ernie, you were there, and so this is kind of full circle moment. You're going to actually see be able to talk about all the winners.
Oh, well, I will, along with the folks who know more about it than I do. But the cool thing is when you come to the Livestock Show and Rodeo, there is something for everyone, and that's what we love so much about this event.
And today is Community Day, so we are out, and it is amazing to see our community out and about. But Frank.
Beautiful. I know. There's a strong line of storms. There's a severe thunderstorm warning for parts of Harris County and to the west, starting really around San Felipe out in Waller County.
Yep.
And this is until 12:45. So this is a pretty strong line of storms moving in. It's moving with some 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts, which the line itself is moving at 30 miles an hour, so you know you're going to get winds of 30, but you can get gusts to 60. And then the possibility of hail is there, some strong downpours. There's a possibility for tornado. When I say that, it's like a 2% chance, so it's not a huge chance, but just stay weather aware. And if you're in the line of it, and we are, it's heading right into the Houston area. I'm seeing it start to bow, and when a line of storms bows like that, it's because wind is pushing it.
Okay, so if
you get strong wind coming in.
So if people are out and about right now and they're hearing us on the radio, should they get to a safe space? Should they?
Well, this is on the this is just moving into Harris County.
Okay.
So it looks to me like it's just into Hockley, and it's the line starts right around Prairie View and then arcs down towards San Felipe, and so this is what's going to come through over the next hour. So it'll at least get to downtown by 1 o'clock.
But then just short.
Well, it's moving 30 miles an hour. So, and give it an hour, it'll be 30 miles away, right? And it looks to me like it's probably about 20 miles wide.
So about an hour.
So it'll be about
about
45 minutes to an hour.
Don't you enjoy how sophisticated Ernie and our weather questions are?
What about me? Well, looks to me like it's 20 miles wide, so give it an hour.
Frank, can you how long is it here? When does it go through? No, but yes, thank you so much. We're going to keep
But
you
be
guys,
careful.
informed as much as we possibly can as we stay weather aware.
Yep.
But let's move into the show then.
Yes, Holly Schweitzer joined the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo in 2022 as the Director of Customer Experience. In this role, she dedicated to creating new opportunities for customers' engagement and making the rodeo a family-friendly event that brings joy to attendees of all ages. And we have seen all ages today just in the last few hours. And, Holly oversees all special days, carnival operations, unique activations, and customer service, working alongside a fantastic group of volunteers to deliver an exceptional service for everyone. Holly, welcome.
Thank you. Howdy, everybody.
Howdy.
That was the best welcome ever.
Well, that was the best response to one of our welcomes ever. So, special theme days here at the rodeo. We've got one every day, it seems like.
I love it. We need to keep adding.
Yeah. So, what are you most excited about this year? What are some theme days people definitely cannot forget about?
Sure. So, today is Community Day. Everybody gets in free until noon, which I think we just hit that noon mark. But we have the Houston Symphony. They'll be performing between 2 and 3 today, weather pending, so we're very excited about that. Tomorrow is Volunteer Appreciation Day presented by Phillips 66.
What does that mean, volunteer appreciation?
So we have over 36,000 volunteers, 109 committees. They are the backbone of our organization. We would not be able to commit the $30 million to youth and education without our volunteers. So we really want to have a day to show them how special they are. We have special activities lined up throughout the day. And we have a talent show, a volunteer talent show at 2 p.m. that's open to everybody on the Junction stage. We have 10 different committees participating. We're really looking forward to that. And then we'll highlight them in the stadium as well.
And I can tell you, the weather Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday into your weekend is perfect.
Gorgeous. Yeah. It'll be perfect for Go Tejano Day on Sunday, March 15th.
Wonderful.
Which, we're really excited about that. They have a mariachi competition, which you might be hearing about a little later.
Yeah.
Well, when you plan out these community days, do you basically have a blueprint you repeat for every day, or is every day a different adventure?
We try to make every day a different adventure.
Oh, my.
Yes.
So how do you do it?
A lot of teamwork.
Yeah.
A lot of teamwork. I mentioned the volunteers. The volunteers are amazing. They run a lot of the special days, committees of 200 people. You have Armed Forces Appreciation Day, Opening Day, First Responders Day, Black Heritage Day. And so they all come together and bring out the community and offer different activities and activations that everybody would want to enjoy.
Do you ever feel that by having singular community days, it takes away from the experience of knowing every day is for everyone, or does it actually enrich it by on certain days highlighting certain groups?
I think it enriches it because we have different activities on the Junction stage for the different days. And so there's something for everybody. We have lumberjacks on the stage every single day. We have...
I've missed that one. Where are the lumberjacks?
It's great. We have Charo on the Road, which is new this year, and that has been a fantastic addition. The guests love it. It's very high in satisfaction this year. We have Rockin' America with the Slags. We're celebrating America's 250. So they come out every single day at 4:15, and we pass out about 200 red, white, and blue branded bandanas for the guests for free. So there's literally something for everybody, even on those special days.
What's your favorite?
My favorite. Oh, I don't know if I can answer that.
Oh,
I
you've
love
got to
them
give me
all.
something.
It's like your children, every one
They
of them.
are. Everything is unique. I love them all just the same. I hope that the community loves coming out here and celebrating them. Our special days are really the first 2 weeks. So this is a really big spring break week. So hopefully people will be able to come out and take advantage.
Speaking of which, you've been with the rodeo for how long?
4 years.
Okay, so in your 4 years, how does this crowd look to you compared to what you've seen in the past? Bigger,
it's
smaller, the
amazing.
same?
So I definitely keep track of our attendance
Right.
every single day for special days because we do want to grow, especially that first week. The first week, the attendance was really good. So I'm looking forward to seeing what this week brings. But yeah, it's definitely a good year so far.
Is there any room for anything new? It seems
Of
like
course,
there's something
always,
every day.
Always.
She almost looked mad at you on that one, Frank.
We love feedback. So we send surveys out to our guests. We also have questions at HLSR. So if anybody has ideas for future, wants to participate, I would love for them to reach out to us. It's probably too late to do anything this year, but as we're planning for 2027, I would love to hear new ideas and see what we can make happen.
So what are you excited about this year?
All right, so the drone show powered by Reliant.
That's what I'm excited to hear about.
So we have done the drone show. This will be the 4th year. We grow it every year. There are 3 different shows. Each weekend is a completely new show.
Okay.
The cool thing this year is we added fireworks on drones. Yes.
You're shooting them down almost.
So we are the first in the city of Houston. We had the city of Houston, the fire marshals, come out and test everything prior to show. They were all here. They were all very excited. We had one show on Sunday. Unfortunately, Saturday it was canceled due to weather. But it was fantastic.
How many drones are we talking?
We have 400 drones and 100 to 115 pyro drones.
Wow. How many people are they all operated by a single person?
Yes, we have 2 pilots on site.
Wow.
Two pilots.
Are they? I'm sorry.
Where are all of these drones held? What does that look like? Because that's a lot of drones.
They're held in the blue lot right by the arena, kind of on the right on the back side of the hideout, actually. So that's where they stage every Saturday, Sunday. You can see it go up from there. It would be amazing to get on the Ferris wheel at 8 o'clock and just go around.
Insider tips.
Yes, or the sky ride going across. That's what I recommend. Try to get in line for 8 o'clock there. But again, 8 p.m. Saturday, Sunday. We're going to have one this Friday as well, which is to make up for Saturday.
You call them, I guess you call them pilots. Are they programmers, really, right? They sit there or is there actual manual?
They do. I mean, they push different buttons. I'd love to have you guys out to check it out.
Oh, love to come.
Y'all can come see. But yeah, no, they're talking with Hobby Airport. They're working with the FAA. They're sending them up. There's a lot of technical stuff behind it, which I won't get too much into it. But it's a really cool thing to sit and watch.
So for folks who don't know what we're even talking about, what do they see in the sky?
So we like to highlight our 4 pillars. And so you'll see education, you'll see livestock, you'll see entertainment, you'll see Western heritage, different images every single weekend.
And who gets to decide the images, and how do y'all coordinate that?
Yeah, it's completely a team effort. We work with our creative studio team, and then my team. We work together, and then we work with the company Sky Elements that actually builds the drone show and sends us the artwork. So yeah.
Okay, so much of what happens at the rodeo, you have to be at the rodeo to enjoy. How high up is the drone show going, and where can you see it from the city?
Ooh.
That's a good question.
It is a very good question. I would not recommend anything, I would say, because it probably would not be safe to catch it from the 610. So I would definitely recommend coming
to the rodeo.
That's
your focused audience.
It's not a fireworks. It's not a fireworks show.
But it goes up. And
it probably is about the same level as a fireworks show.
It's about 400 feet on top of the building.
Which is 40 stories. So.
You know, I mentioned unique activations, and I'm really curious, what makes an activation unique?
Yeah. So we collect a lot of feedback from our guests to find out what they like. So far, we know the public, they love the horses. Everybody wants to see more horses. So that's why we introduced Charo on the Road this year. It's another different type of activation.
Explain what that is. You've mentioned it twice.
So he is like a trick roper. He has a horse. His family comes out. There are 3 or 4 shows a day. And it's just really neat to see. He's out in the Junction area. You know, we have the pig races, we have mutton busting, so we keep the traditional.
That's a fan fave for sure.
Yeah.
Keep the traditional activations, but again, it all goes back to feedback from what the guests want to see out here.
So you're in charge of the carnival and all of that too.
Yes, I am.
So what do you do? It seems to me that that's usually pretty much the same things like mutton busting. Any new additions?
Well, in the carnival, we have 3 or 4 new rides. I don't know if
you
you saw the aviator out there. It is okay. We're going on that once this weather passes.
Okay.
But it swings, and it's as high as NRG Stadium. Like, you
Okay,
were
y'all are
literally at
going
the
on
top
that.
of
Frank is
energy.
going to watch and take pictures.
Holly, we've been doing this show almost a year now. I don't know that we have had a more joyful guest than you. You must really love being here and doing what you do.
I love it. The culture is amazing. Working with the 36,000 volunteers again, I'm blown away when I started with everything that they do and everything they coordinate and organize, and we really couldn't do it without them. And so I've really enjoyed being a very small piece of that.
Beautiful. Holly Schweitzer is the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo Director of Customer Experience. And what an experience it is to come to the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo. Holly, thank you so much for joining us today on Hello Houston.
I appreciate it. Y'all have a good day.
You too. Watch the weather.
We're finding you for a ride later.
Yes, please.
And coming up next, all the details on one of the most popular rodeo days, and that is Go Tejano Day. We'll be back after this break.
Meet Gamola, songwriter, world-class violinist, and award-winning multi-genre artist. We just took his keys for the day and gave him a Ride Metro fare card. Visit ridemetro.org/Gamola to learn more about his ride.
Victims. I'm Scott Detrow, the storied career of Delroy Lindo on All Things Considered from NPR News.
You can hear All Things Considered this afternoon beginning at 3 on News 88.7.
At its most basic, consciousness is what makes us ourselves.
The self is about separateness, right? The ego is a defensive structure. But when those walls come down, there's nothing between you and whatever the larger universe is.
A look at what we understand about the conscious mind. That's next time on Think.
Join us for Think tonight at 11 on News 88.7.
Experts estimate that the U.S. has already spent more than $10 billion on its war in Iran. Meanwhile, the price of oil is rising sharply worldwide as fighting ties up ships in the Strait of Hormuz. With no clear end in sight, how will Congress wrangle the high price tag of the war, economically and politically? Unpacking the cost of war, next time on 1A.
1A begins this afternoon at 2 on News 88.7.
Houston Public Media is licensed to the University of Houston system, governed by the UH Board of Regents. Information about open meetings, dates, times, and locations is online at uhsystem.edu.
Support for Houston Public Media comes from Metro, introducing the Ride Metro Fare Card. The Ride Metro Fare system replaces the Metro Q Fare Card for bus and rail fares. Details at ridemetro.org/fare system.
And now back to Hello Houston Live at the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo with Ernie Manous, Celestia Sherman, and Frank Billingsley.
To our next segment. Frank, we've been monitoring the weather. What can you tell us?
Yeah, there's another severe thunderstorm warning up around the Conroe area. Not quite to all of Montgomery County, but it's certainly much of Montgomery County until 1 o'clock. The one south of that for Harris County is until 12:45. There's just a strong line of storms coming in. Some 60-mile-an-hour gusts, some hail is a possibility, along with even an isolated tornado. So this is a tornado watch until 6 for all of us, and there are some isolated severe thunderstorm warnings. So stay weather aware. It's on the west side now, but it's moving 30 miles an hour, so everything will be moving through over the next 2 to 3 hours.
And we will continue to monitor the weather, but moving on right into our next segment.
It's an exciting segment. People love it.
People love it. Go Tejano Day at the rodeo is one of the most attended days, and the committee even has a Go Tejano diner set up with tons of delicious food. From events like a fashion show, scholarship gala, Mariachi Invitational, golf tournament, and of course, Go Tejano Day at the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo. There are so many ways the Go Tejano Committee helps to get Houston's Hispanic community involved. And joining us now is the Go Tejano Day Committee Captain, Adrian Izaguirre, and Laura Cervantes. Welcome, Adrian and Laura.
Thank you all for having us.
Okay, so why is Go Tejano Day such a fan favorite?
I think Go Tejano Day is a big fan favorite all across Rodeo Houston, simply because of the culture and tradition that we bring. One of the things that is intertwined within Rodeo Houston culture is Hispanic culture and community, recognizing the importance and what the Hispanic heritage has brought to Western heritage, and it's coupled as a whole. And so bringing this day is just one of the biggest things that Rodeo Houston has to offer, and there's so much entertainment that's family-friendly for everyone of all ages, for everyone to enjoy.
Well, and we were talking about it just a minute ago, too, with our last guest about the idea of, yes, there is a day to celebrate it, but the whole rodeo is full of the flavors and the sounds of it.
Absolutely, and one of the things that we have, as was mentioned, is the Go Tejano Diner, where our 300-plus volunteers are the ones that are cooking the food. We have no paid staff. It's all volunteer-led, and all net proceeds go towards a scholarship fund that the Go Tejano Committee supports on behalf of the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo. So there's plenty of food to enjoy. That's one of the biggest things that brings people to Rodeo Houston, right, is that great food. We have a new item that was brought onto our menu this year that got an award, so we're very excited about it.
What is it? Don't bury
Of course. Laura, you want to tell them what that item is?
Oh, yes. We have a torta, Mexican torta made with fresh pork, and it's so delicious. You have to try it.
Qué rico. So, Laura, talk to us a little bit about what your role is and how you support this committee.
Yes, this is my 8th year at the committee, and what I do this year is coordinator of the communications and press, but usually I go around in Go Tejano Day, I go around all the stations to take pictures and all the events that we have.
Yeah.
I try to do a little bit of networking, talk about what we do every day at the Go Tejano Day.
Adrian, as I understand it, there is the single day, Go Tejano Day, but that actually you folks work year-round on this.
That's right. We work year-round, in and out of rodeo season. We put on events all throughout the year, again, to raise funds for the scholarship fund on behalf of Rodeo Houston. So we have our fashion show and dance that takes place every fall. We have a scholarship gala that's held usually at the beginning of the year in the winter. We have our Mariachi Invitational, which is the day before Go Tejano Day. And then post-Rodeo Houston, we have our golf tournament that we hold every year in May up in the Cypress Wood Golf Club.
So the mariachis will be here Saturday.
So the mariachis will be at the Arena Theater on Saturday. And then Sunday, they'll be coming to compete once again for a second round at the Hideout, beginning at 11 a.m. in the morning. And then the top 2 scorers from both nights will advance into NRG Stadium right before our artists this year to compete for the final showdown.
Okay, let me ask you, because you might know, because I don't. I love mariachi, and I hear it a lot when I go to Mexico, of course, and hear it here. What do you think really sets apart a mariachi band from the really the best ones from the not so good?
I think what sets apart a really good mariachi is their ability to incorporate not only the passion of the music, but also the audience to feel that emotion. We often see it at our invitational. We often see it across the grounds, how a particular note, whether it's from a violin or from a singer, just brings out some emotion in someone in the crowd, and they get riled up and they get so excited, and they'll do what's called el grito, the scream, to show that passion that they have. And that's what really stands out from a really great mariachi group, and our groups that come all across the country to compete for this invitational.
And so they're all top. They're already blue ribbon, all of them.
Absolutely.
And so how do you really stand out as the winner?
Well, we leave that up to the people.
Okay.
We leave it up to the people. They're the ones who cheer, scream, clap
You've
for them.
got to have seen some trends, though.
Latinos, we're loud. We're loud. So we'll let you know exactly who we like and who we don't like. But I do have to ask you, Adrian, Latino culture, when we look at it, we've talked about the food. We've talked about, the music. But really also about culture in Latinos is relationships. For you, being the head, of a committee like this, bringing so many people, making so many different connections, what does that mean to you and the representation that it puts out there for everybody to see?
It means a lot to me in particular, given the fact that I'm part of the first generation here in this country from my family, and also sharing an additional insight that I'm a former scholarship recipient of Rodeo Houston.
Excellent.
So the dedication that all the volunteers, the 36,000 plus volunteers that make up Rodeo Houston, all the efforts, whether it's our committee, the Go Tejano Committee, and what we realize, or anyone that's on the other committees, it means a lot. And also to have a day like this to highlight an impact, right? Again, we want to let people know that while this is focus on Hispanic heritage. Hispanic heritage is for everyone, and Hispanic heritage is intertwined within the culture of Rodeo Houston, and we want to make sure that everyone gets to be a part of that, whether they consider themselves Latino or not, that this is for everyone.
Totally.
Well, drawing on such a rich tradition and heritage, how do you decide what particular elements get focused on, especially when it comes to Go Tejano Day?
We add on different elements every year. We often start with our diner because that's what we kind of lead, and bringing in different items every year, trying to figure out what people want, but also realizing what brings people joy. You know, for the first time last year or in the past couple of years, we had the grito competition, which is again where someone comes up and gives a very passionate scream, so that people can see how well they can do it.
It's more like an operatic scream.
Yeah, there we go.
I don't know if it's a scream.
Latino opera. Let's
call
it
it's
that.
more of like a call. I don't know if I'd say
understand you more now.
Yes,
today.
yes. I mean,
So being able to incorporate that, we're bringing it back and we're bringing it in more places. So we're also trying to meet people where they are. Oftentimes folks want to come see the artists inside of Energy Stadium, but we realize there's a lot more people all across the grounds. And so we're bringing our entertainment all across the grounds, this particular on Go Tejano Day, Ballet Folklorico, different groups on the junction stages and in the hideout, and all the different spots that we have. We want to make sure that the entertainment comes to them just as much as they're being enjoying their time here at Rodeo Houston.
Do you get to consult on who is the Go Tejano artist in the big stage?
We don't get to consult who makes a decision on that. There's been a lot of questions about how that's decided. That's beyond our purview. But more so, we're dedicated to making sure that the entertainment across the grounds is accessible for people and that they have a great time in doing it.
And Adrian, I'm curious, you said that you're a scholarship recipient. You went through the process. Talk to us about what that meant for you and your family, and what did you get the scholarship for?
I got an academic scholarship from Rodeo Houston back in 2012, so it's been close to 15 years. But nonetheless, it meant a significant amount of effort that was put in for me and my family, not only to be able to receive this scholarship, but also what it meant for my future, my education. I've been fortunate enough to have to graduate debt-free from college when I attended, along with some other scholarships, but also to begin my career in the short time that I've had. It's been almost a decade since I've graduated as well, and it's been a lot for me and my family. It's set me up for a lot of great things I've been able to accomplish, and that is the purpose in which why I contribute back. Shortly after I graduated college, I was back here, and I joined the Go Tejano Committee to be able to give future generations that same opportunity that I was once afforded.
You know, you seem obviously pretty plugged in to Go Tejano Day. I don't know that there's anything like this anywhere else in the country. Do you?
I don't think, if there is, there's nothing that really compares to it. I think that's one of the things that we often want to make people stand out. You know, Rodeo Houston is the world's biggest rodeo.
Sure.
And we want to make sure that when people are here, whether it's Go Tejano Day or any other 20 plus days, that they have a great time in doing so, and that they bring people from across the state, across the world. We've had people who are guests who are from out of the country or different countries that come in and experience Rodeo Houston, and they walk away so amazed at how we put this on for 3 consecutive weeks, day in and day out, that doesn't compare to anywhere else in the world.
I do want to plug South Texas in Brownsville, Texas, right on the border. Every year around this time, they have Charo Days.
Oh, that's nice.
Charo Day, and they have a whole grito contest.
Right.
So, there are other communities that put something like on this, but as you mentioned, the scale that y'all do it. Talk to us about some of the other attractions besides the diner. You have the mariachis. What are some of the other spots that you think maybe get overlooked?
I think one of the spots that definitely gets overlooked is the junction stage. There's a lot of entertainment that we bring in across the ground. It's right in the middle of the carnival area. It's a covered stage, and so we have a DJ that's playing music throughout the day, and also different groups, local groups. So we're also supporting and giving local artists some exposure to different audiences that may have not heard them, or vice versa, audiences that they have may have never encountered, to be able to enjoy part of the day. The hideout is never a miss. I think everyone knows about the hideout, whether it's infamous or famous for different ways, but definitely the junction, and also the different ice houses where people can go enjoy the Ballet Folkloricos and the mariachis. Our finalists that don't make it into the stadium are performing on the ground, so the 3rd through 5th places are still on the grounds, giving people some more entertainment throughout the day.
And that's a good point. Folks often think to see the entertainer, you're going into the stadium, you're buying a ticket into there. Simply being on the grounds, especially on Go Tejano Day, the art is all around, the music is all around you. You can enjoy a full experience without even going into the big arena.
Absolutely. There's a lot to enjoy, and we always recommend people to come on out, and most importantly, to never forget, right, that all these efforts are to help generations of students achieve their dreams for education and their careers. Those scholarships mean the world. I can attest from personal experience, but I've also had the opportunity to meet students and their families when they come to their scholarship banquets and discuss with them what their plans are and their futures are. And their parents are so emotional and grateful, as are the students, right, for the impact that these scholarships have on their lives and what it will mean for their futures.
Nice. And don't forget the food.
Absolutely. Don't forget a good taco, torta, elote, whatever you want. Always be sure to stop by the Go Tejano Diner or visit any of the great food options that are here at Rodeo Houston.
Go Tejano Committee Captain Adrian Izaguirre and Laura Cervantes, thank you both for joining us today on Hello Houston.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Coming up on Hello Houston, I would say this is coming up is
Speaking
Ernie's
of food,
talking about
favorite
food
segment. We'll be joined by the Food Buckle winners. This is News 88.7. Stay with us after the break.
We know you value Houston Public Media. That's why you're watching right now. So take the next step and become a new member of the station you rely on. Every gift makes a difference. And what matters most right now is supporting the station that brings you the news and information you rely on. It only takes a minute to make a big difference. So join as a new member today at houstonpublicmedia.org/donate or call 800-364-8300.
You know our show? Okay, well, either way, I'm going to tell you about it. We make stories, old-fashioned stories that hopefully pull you into the beginning with funny moments and feelings and people in surprising situations, and then you just want to find out what is going to happen and cannot stop listening. That's right. I'm talking about stories that make you miss appointments and ignore your loved ones. This American Life.
You can hear This American Life tonight at 10 on News 88.7.
Listeners to Morning Edition heard President Trump's former national security advisor on the war against Iran.
I'm increasingly worried because it really is unclear what Trump's objectives are, that they've done sufficient planning.
So what's the next move? News from Washington and from Leila Fadel in the Mideast on the next Morning Edition from NPR News.
Join us for Morning Edition 5 to 9 a.m. tomorrow and every weekday morning here on News 88.7.
Houston Matters highlights the people, places, issues, and ideas that define Greater Houston. And we do it live on the air weekday mornings at 9 on News 88.7. But we know you're not always available then to listen. So subscribe to our podcast wherever you get yours, or find each day's program to stream online at your leisure at houstonpublicmedia.org. And reach out with questions or comments anytime. Email us at talk@houstonmatters.org.
On Fresh Air, you'll hear conversations with entertaining people like Nancy Cartwright, the voice of Bart Simpson.
I gave him one take, one sound, one voice, and that was it. Blah, 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 blah. And Matt, his eyebrows went up, his tongue came out of his mouth. He's like, oh my God, that's him, that's Bart, that's him. You got the part.
The most interesting people in show business tell their stories on Fresh Air.
Fresh Air, weekdays at 8 p.m. on News 88.7.
Support comes from Specs Wines, Spirits, and Finer Foods, celebrating the Lone Star State with locally and Texas-made spirits, wines, brews, and more throughout the month of March. Details at specs.com. The fun starts here. Support for Houston Public Media comes from Good Reason Houston, bringing together educators, families, and community leaders to strengthen public education in Houston. Learn more at goodreasonhouston.org.
And now back to Hello Houston Live at the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo with Ernie Manous, Celestia Sherman, and Frank Billingsley.
And rodeo, honoring standout dishes that capture the spirit of the fair. From bold, over-the-top culinary experiments to beloved classics, these awards spotlight the vendors pushing fair food to the next level while keeping tradition alive. Joining us today to tell us all about this year's food vendors and the Gold Buckle Award winners is Kenneth Lewis, chairman of the Commercial Exhibits Committee. Welcome, Kenneth.
Thank you very much for having me.
But you're not here alone. Also joining us is Jerry Rousso of Rousso's Fat Bacon, who won 2 Gold Buckle Foodie Awards this year, and Mark Zable of Darlin's Fried Chicken, who also won a Gold Buckle Food Award this year. Did I get it all right? I saw a little chatter there. Okay, just want to make sure.
3.
3? Oh, did I only give you 2?
3.
I won 3.
Okay, what did you win? Tell us what you won.
So I won with my Dubai chocolate funnel cake fries.
Yes.
My Bacon Jam Brisket Biscuit.
I had that. It's amazing.
And my Bacon Jam Beignets.
Wow.
Yeah.
Fabulous.
Now, I
Absolutely
am
fabulous.
not a bacon lover to begin with. Bacon's cool, but I'm not one of those. But each one of your creations this year, I got to judge, and oh my Lord.
You never had my bacon before?
No, I never had your bacon, but I've had it now.
But I wasn't there, and I got to have some of your bacon, and it was delicious.
Thank you so much.
Well, I had that brisket biscuit,
And it was amazing.
It was amazing.
Frank and I got in on the food. Ernie had to go do the work.
Yeah, they got to taste the winners. I got to sample. But, Kenneth, explain to folks, too, the stuff that we sample when we judge for Gold Buckle has already gone through a vetting process of all of the folks that come to the rodeo every year, because you can vote online initially to get the folks into the finals.
That's correct. So our vendors, our food vendors spend all year, once they leave the rodeo, they go into the lab and basically are mad scientists, and they are developing new creations, and they bring that to us in the fall, and then the public gets to vote on who the finalists should be. And then those finalists are brought to you at the Gold Buckle Foodie Awards, and y'all, as judges, get to pick the winners.
So I have to ask, last year we were here at the rodeo and we tried a large piece of bacon with cotton candy. And I remember thinking there is no way that this could actually be good. And then I ate the whole thing. And I was like, this is delicious. And since that moment, I have thought about that piece of bacon the entire year up until this point.
Don't judge it till you try it.
Don't judge it till you try it. How do you come up with those type of flavors?
Like Kenneth says, it's all year. We get in the lab, we get in the commercial kitchen, and we're just rocking and rolling.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when it comes to fried chicken, everybody seems to have an idea of what fried chicken is. Every grandmother, every person I know is creative. What makes good fried chicken? What's the secret?
Buying the best poultry and having a custom blended batter. And you have to have pressure fryers. If you don't have pressure fryers, you're going to have dried out chicken.
Well, that's how Chick-fil-A cooks their chicken.
It is.
I worked for them when I was 15, so I know. But yeah, pressure fryer does make a big difference with fried chicken. So my mother always used buttermilk and then flour and black pepper. Good,
Correct.
Bad, and different.
No, that's right.
Yeah.
Buttermilk is typically the liquid to batter in.
Yeah.
So is it a simple spice and let the chicken carry it and the crispness of the fry, or is there secrets in that seasoning?
Oh, no,
that
there's
really...
a lot of secrets because...
Okay, what are they?
Well, you really have to be careful with your salt content because what you get as soon as it comes out of the fryer is completely different than what you get 10 minutes later when it's actually served. It's completely different. The salt absorbs in, so you have to be real careful with your salt content.
So is that like something you have to do over and over and over and over, like when you say you're in the lab trying?
So when we were getting ready to open Darlin's here, we spent 7 months at the Henny Penny Test Kitchen coming up with our breading.
Oh, wow.
And that's interesting, right? We talk about coming up with our, you're talking about the breading. And oftentimes when we think of rodeo, we think of like these carnival foods, but y'all really elevate it to the next level. How do you differentiate to make it to that, what do you do to take it to that next level?
So personally, I like to make food that I like to eat.
Yeah.
So that's where my inspiration.
How else would you know if it tastes good?
Right.
Yeah. But you're feeding thousands of people.
Right, but if it's something that I like, I know they're going to like it too.
There you go.
Bold.
Hence the chicken fried lobster. I'm selling a ton of them.
Chicken fried lobster.
Is that one or that one?
It's right here in front of me.
This is wild. I'm gonna lift it up over
so do you have to talk to me about like the chicken fried with the lobster? What is balancing out the acidic versus salt?
I'll take half of that.
So actually what is most surprising is how much time it takes to take the tails out of the lobster out of the tails.
Yeah.
So I didn't.
The non-glamorous
I did
part.
not expect the excitement around it that I have. So I actually had to hire 3 additional people to just take tails out of the lobster tails. So.
But I think anytime we think of lobster, immediately we're like, of course it's going to be delicious, but you're frying it.
You are. And you have to be real careful with how long you fry it because you want it to still be tender and not turn to rubber.
Right,
and
the texture can
absolutely
be off immediately.
And there's plenty of restaurants I've gone to where the lobster is terrible.
So what's the sauce?
Oh, I can't tell you that.
Well, I mean, is it for the lobster?
It is for the lobster, and that is my recipe that I came up with tinkering in the kitchen.
All right, Kenneth, you and I have been through this many years. We have seen a lot of interesting things come across the table. In the past, before you gave us just finalists, there were some crazy things that came through the table for us to judge. What are some of the odder things that you have seen experimented with here at the festival?
Well, I have to say, to me, the pickle pizza is kind of odd, but wildly successful.
Oh, I've had a pizza with scorpions on it.
Oh, sure.
There's been some weird things.
There's been some strange things, but these guys are good at going to the lab and figuring out what people are willing to try, what they'll find delicious. And listen, there's all kinds of people out here, and you never know what people are going to eat.
Joey, strangest thing you ever made?
I mean, nothing goes crazier than putting cotton candy on bacon.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I was going to say, a lot of times we're seeing food trends that are going viral. How much of that impacts your decisions on what to put on a plate? Like Dubai chocolate was having a moment.
I was about to say, if you put Dubai chocolate on pretty much anything,
people go nuts over it.
So what we did was this. We, in December, my father and I decided we're just going to scroll on TikTok on our food, and we're just going to see what's the biggest trend. And we see a girl pouring Dubai chocolate on everything, waffles, nachos. I've seen a whole funnel cake. We're like, what if we just chop it up and we just take our imported pistachio cream from Italy, our Belgian chocolate, a little bit of knife, and make Dubai chocolate funnel cake fries.
Yeah, and it's delicious, by the way.
Okay, Joey, biggest fail you had in the kitchen that you thought this was gonna work and you tested and you just couldn't make it happen?
Oh, that's such a good question. Oh gosh. Okay, we did
I'm dying to hear this is gonna be.
We tried doing these. Goodness gracious, I'm gonna get in trouble for this one. Huh?
We like trouble.
Yeah,
do it.
Okay, so we tried making a stuffed chicken pot pie in an egg roll, but it just we couldn't get the best taste out of it.
But I would also
sounds
imagine
very good.
That would be mushy. That to me sounds disgusting. If I'm being completely honest with you, I feel like I bite into mush. What about you, Mark?
So it defines, how do you define failure? Because I can tell you that the single product that I made that I've sold the most of ever was fried beer, but it was the worst tasting product I've ever created.
Okay.
So it was an absolute fail in that every time I had to do a TV interview and eat one, I was like, okay, I got to keep this down and not spit it out. I mean, it was terrible.
So
absolutely horrible. I'm being honest.
Well,
it's the only product I've ever made that was terrible.
You would have to make it gelatinous, I would imagine, to be able to fry it.
Oh, I actually wound up getting a patent on how to do the process because I was the only person that ever fried a liquid before. But it was terrible.
And there is a lot of science that goes into this.
There's a lot.
Talk to us about being in a kitchen and in a laboratory like y'all are talking about.
So it actually took me 4 years to figure out how to fry beer, and it was my kid was 3, and it was something that he was eating that gave me the idea of how to finally make it. And
wow.
It sounds good because a lot of fried food and beer go together.
Well, so originally it was great because I made them with tequila inside and with a little lime salt, and they were great. And I did a softer version with Bailey's in it, but the fair wouldn't let me use any hard liquor, so I either used beer or wine. It's terrible.
Yeah.
But
okay,
750,000 servings in 24 days. But it was terrible. Had a trash can right next to the stand. People would take one bite and throw them away. They were terrible.
All right, kind of take us to the other direction. The best thing, you've tasted a lot of this stuff. What's one that you still have dreams of?
I got to tell you, I can't play favorites.
Come on.
We love all of our vendors.
Yes.
But I do come out and I look forward to, well, first of all, anything with bacon in it.
Yeah.
I'll be honest, I love. I had brisket fried rice the other day.
Oh, that sounds good.
So that was pretty good. So there's all kinds of things out here that people would love.
So what's going on here? This looks like just a barbecue pork sandwich.
That's actually my Hawaiian pulled pork sandwich.
Okay. So the pork came from Hawaii or the rolls came from Hawaii?
Well, it's actually Hawaiian King rolls, slider rolls, but it's a Kahlua pulled pork with a pineapple slaw and an umami sauce on top.
I know
Sounds
we'll
like
be
my
having
kind of
lunch
sandwich,
today.
to be honest.
Yes.
It's a great.
We won't get up from the table for lunch today. That's all going to work perfect for us. Joey, outside of your products, something you look forward to finding at the rodeo every year?
Oh gosh, what he said, pickle pizza.
Pickle pizza for you?
Absolutely.
Mark, how about for you?
I'm a pretty picky eater, to be honest. I bring all my own stuff and cook all my own meals in the booth.
Oh,
so,
Mark.
Sorry, I just.
So is the funnel cake still the king of the rodeo?
I would say so.
Yeah.
You know, with families and kids, everybody's got to come out and have their funnel cake. So.
Right, and that's also something that you have to balance as well, is that there are going to be some just basic traditional flavors that people go to
That's correct.
for their rodeo experience.
Absolutely. And actually, I will tell you with what Joey did at the contest, the committee can always tell what's doing well when y'all as the judges would not let us pick up the Dubai chocolate funnel cake fries. When you were through judging it, we said, all right, we'll take that.
Oh,
right.
no, you gave us to-go boxes.
Yeah,
Everyone wanted to keep them.
exactly.
Yeah.
So we said, okay,
There's something
we got a
here.
feeling there's something there.
Okay, what are the we've jumped into this, so everyone knows this as well as we do. Give me the categories and give me the winners, too.
So I will tell you all
And
of
while
them.
you're looking it up, I just want to say, when you're here, you guys hang the medallions, the certificates, so people know what won the buckles when they're walking the midway.
If you go onto the Rodeo's app, there is a category that says Gold Buckle Foodie Awards, and you will see this list. So the best fried food is the Chicken Fried Lobster that you have in front of you.
Yes, very much.
We have the best food on the stick, and that is the Kaboom K-Dog from Asian Streetless, which is right there. That's
right
correct.
here.
Yeah, that's kind of fun.
The classic fare food is the Dubai chocolate funnel cake fries that are right here. The most creative food is the brisket cheese curd tacos from Richie's Cheese Curd Tacos.
Is that this one right here?
That's
this right here.
That's this right here.
We have
That's
one right
it.
here.
Oh, I haven't
it.
tried those.
And the best new flavor is the Bacon Jam Brisket Biscuit.
Fabulous. I'm going to have to try one of those afterwards.
Send it this way.
I got you.
And then the best dessert is the Bacon Jam Beignets.
Yes.
But this
Is-
little guy.
Is the jam, whenever you're working and trying to look at something like bacon jam, are you going to change the ingredients to make sure that it goes well, it pairs well with a beignet versus pairing it on a brisket sandwich? What is that process
So
like?
that's a great question. And what we did was we took our food geniuses and we were just saying, what we're going to do is we're going to take our original bacon jam that we brought with our bacon jam sliders last year, and we're going to make it sweet. We're going to take the onions out, a little bit more balsamic, a little bit more maple syrup, and we're going to put some sweet spices in there. Unbelievable. And I believe that's what you're trying right now.
Yes, and
on the
we
biscuit
tried
right
the
now.
biscuit.
Oh yeah,
right
I
here.
had a whole one just the other day. It's amazing. The sauce makes it.
Oh, shit.
It's just
That
delicious.
hot honey, a little bit of barbecue, it's homemade barbecue sauce as well.
Oh, wow.
So everyone will enjoy it. And that biscuit, flaky, buttery, soft, amazing.
You know, at the end of the day, to me, because I grew up in the South, it's all about the sauces.
Absolutely.
I mean, whether they're barbecue or a remoulade or whatever it is you're creating, it's so good. I'm going to
Yes.
figure out what this one is.
But there also
And it
has
goes-
to be a balance, I would say, because when you have something that's so rich, you have to also balance it out. Now, I'm not seeing anything green except for over here, but
Dubai chocolate.
Dubai chocolate.
Yeah, I got you. I got you. I got you.
How do you find that balance between making food that's not too rich, that's going to sit heavy, where people actually want to eat a whole bacon biscuit?
You know how long it takes us to sit in the kitchen and we just do multiple tries, multiple attempts just to make sure it's perfect? Because I will never give anything to the public unless it's perfect.
Yeah. What about you, Mark?
I'm actually working on my next year's product right now in my booth. So
Do you need taste testers?
I do actually. so-
Okay. I know where I'm going after
All
this.
All right, Kenneth. Are we really coming here for a balanced diet, or are we coming here to have fun?
Look, you come to the rodeo to have a good time, to try things that you can't try at any other place.
That is very true.
That's very true.
Let me just jump in here. As vendors, is there any place else like the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo that gives you an opportunity to create these kind of dishes, to get this kind of response from an audience, to actually have this kind of benefit into your businesses?
So the State Fair of Texas also has a big food competition. But it's a different level than what I can do here. I can go all out here.
Well, talk to us about that. Why do you think you can go all out here? What makes the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo different than like the state fair?
The people that come to the rodeo are willing to spend the money to buy finer foods.
Here at this rodeo.
At this rodeo.
Yeah.
So, I could never do a chicken fried lobster in Dallas. That's just not the crowd that would buy that.
And do you think that that's because Houston, the city itself, is such a foodie city that people want that food?
Yes, I absolutely do. And they like good food, and they're willing to pay for it. So,
what did you just hand me?
That looks like a margarita.
So that is my world famous pickle juice lemonade. It's Rousso's pickle juice lemonade in our souvenir boot for the rodeo.
And I want to see
All right,
you taste
let's
it.
see.
I want to see you taste
It's
it.
homemade. I promise you. I made it this morning.
Be honest. Be honest.
And the verdict?
Surprisingly good. Not at all what I was expecting.
Look inside the boot. There's a pickle inside.
There is
There's
a
a
pickle
pickle.
floating inside. There's two, I
But
think.
pickles, like that flavor, that dill flavor, is having a moment, just like the Dubai chocolate. I mean, how do you decide, now that's salty, now this is extremely rich and sweet?
So that's our homemade lemonade.
Right.
Yep.
So we counterbalance the lemon juice so it mixes with that dill flavor. So it won't be that salty, but it also will give you that, I can drink 3 of these and then I can go back into the stand and get another one because I know that I can just hammer these down all day.
The balance,
and not have a
I think,
hangover.
is the clever part.
Amazing,
I
right?
expected it to be like really salty.
100%
but you
dill
found
pickles.
a really, really.
100% dill pickle.
Want to try it? I know I put my mouth on it, but
I got to say, you guys came up with my two favorites. The biscuit brisket and the fried lobster are outstanding.
Thank you.
All of this is good. I mean, that's all amazing that they could even come up with it. But that's really delicious.
So I will tell you what I have learned from these guys. When I go to bed and I think about what I need to do the next day, what I need to do for my work, my job, these guys go to bed thinking about recipes and what 2 things go together that have never been put together before.
Yeah,
And that's how they come up with this.
And Kenneth, you're pretty much wrangling all of these different vendors and people and flavors. What excites you the most?
Oh, I like to see the people come out and say, I want to try this, or where do I get this?
Yeah.
We get asked all the time, I heard about this great dish, where is it? That's what we want to see. We want people to come out and have a wonderful time.
Well, that's what I wanted to ask the competitors. Do you ever go to someone else's tent and taste their creation and say, dang, I wish I'd come up with this?
Of course.
Of course.
I'm a big supporter for everyone. I want everyone to succeed. The most important thing for us is that we know that we have one each other here.
Yeah.
And that we're a big rodeo family.
Kenneth, before we run out of time, not only is there the food, Commercial Exhibits has a whole lot more going on here.
Absolutely. Inside NRG Center, inside NRG Arena and the stadium, we have vendors that offer you can almost find anything here. We have large vendors that you can find in retail stores, but more importantly, we have hundreds of vendors that come just to fairs and have special things that you can't get anywhere else.
And people often talk about the economic impact that the rodeo has on their businesses and their livelihood.
The economic impact of the rodeo is well over $300 million every year. Houston is very fortunate that we get a Super Bowl every year out of this particular event.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Kenneth Lewis, Isaac Rousso, and Mark Zable. Foodies, thank you for joining us today on Hello Houston.
Cheers to fried beer. Thanks for trying.
Thank you.
And you know what, guys? That's it. We've run out of time.
No, but we have all this food left.
And we will have plenty of time after the show. But we want to thank you for joining us today on Hello Houston. It's been fun broadcasting live from the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo. We'll be back tomorrow with more conversations. We'll have our current obsessions. We know that's one of our fan favorites. And we'll see you tomorrow. Have a great Wednesday, Houston.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Thanks for listening to Hello Houston. Join us every Monday through Friday from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. to talk all things Houston. The Hello Houston production team includes Garrett Boleman, William Menjivar, Jen Altide, Todd Holslander, and Jim Kovacic. For the latest in local news, subscribe to the Hello Houston daily newsletter at houstonpublicmedia.org. Hello Houston is a production of Houston Public Media. The opinions expressed by the guests of this program are solely their own and do not represent the views of management, staff, or underwriters of Houston Public Media. This is News 88.7.